StudioC is that group that came alongside of us and helped us get to that next level, put it in the next gear, and allowed us to grow and get to the next plateau that we wanted to get to. My name is Colter, and I'm one of the pastors here at Oro Valley. My wife and I came here 23 years ago. We came from Kansas. I didn't want to leave Kansas. I was going to stay there for the rest of my life. Loved the people. People were just the best. And they said, why don't you just come down, just you and your family, just take a break and just kind of check out the church. And so we came down here December 2000. And when we came here, we looked at the mountains, and it was 65 degrees in December. And we went, we hear the voice of God here. This is a great place to come. And we made the decision to come here. We've been here for 23 years. We're on our 24th year. We love it here. And there was about 300 people when we came, and there's about 3,500 people that come on an average Sunday right now. We have grown for the last 23 years. We've grown every year, but the growth started to pick up about 5 years ago. We were growing at about 80 to 100 people per year, and all of a sudden we had a conversation with Blue, and we started talking with the marketing company, StudioC, and all of a sudden we noticed that the growth after taking the marketing tips and the procedure that StudioC has given us, all of a sudden we started to realize we're growing by 300. Last year, for the year, we averaged over 500 more people per Sunday than the year before. So the growth went from about 100 people to about 300, and then last year up to 500. Just to tell you where we're at right now, we do a church membership class every 3 months, so 4 times a year. And last night we had our membership class. It's on a Thursday night. We usually do it on a Saturday. When we do it on a Thursday, we have a few less people. And on Sunday, we had 45 people that were registered. Monday, there were 65 people that were registered. Last night, there was 81 people that came to our membership class. And we have about a 95%. If they come to the membership class, about 95% join the church. Numbers are indicators for us, but a lot of times those numbers are the lagging numbers. It's what we're doing, and then the numbers, they come back and tell us, hey, we're either doing good or we're doing bad. So they're kind of lagging numbers. But really what we're after at OVCN is not so much the numbers, it's for a healthy church. We want to have a healthy church at OVCN, and we believe the church growth will come after that. One of the things that StudioC has helped us with is, okay, let's work on the health of the church. There's a certain number of areas that we have to work on, and StudioC kind of went with us and said, hey, here's the areas and here's the statistics, or maybe not statistics. Here are the things that are the indicators of whether people are picking that up and using those things at the church. So through StudioC, we picked up a Jesus Freak shirt. And on the front, it said Jesus Freak. And then it has I think, I got to be careful here. I think it's 10 badges that we asked people to light up. And we worked with StudioC. I'll never forget the day that it was a long, grueling day. But I remember the day that we just said, okay, we're going to figure out what it is that we want people to do at OVCN. That's a really important thing to figure out. What do you want people to do in your church? Okay, here's 10 areas. And it has to do with missions, has to do with giving, being a part of a small group, being a part of ministry. Here's 10 areas that we want you to do. And we just said, okay, if they do these things, then that badge in that area will light up. And we told people, if you get all 10 badges lit up, we got this Jesus Freak with the 10 badges across. It is an incredibly motivating thing, and people will get a T-shirt if they do that. This Jesus Freak T-shirt. It is one of the coolest things. And if you see people that are wearing a Jesus Freak shirt, they have bought in. They're all in. All their badges are lit up, and it is a really cool thing. I don't know how to describe it. It's for me, it's like I have a Fitbit, and for me, I want to make sure that every hour I get 250 steps. There's 10 hours that I've allocated through the day from 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock that I want to get 250 steps. And if I get those steps, then I get a badge. But if I miss one, man, you talk about driving me nuts. I'll come to the end of the day, I'll get 9 out of 10 badges. That 1 hour where I had to meet with somebody and I didn't get up and walk around, because that's what they say, right? If you're going to have health, you got to move around every hour. And so that's one of the things I do. And I think those badges, man, people like me that are competitive and driven, especially in Oro Valley, people are driven. Man, our congregation, man, they have a definite drive to get something done. And I love that about it. We kind of mesh that way really good. We're good for each other that way, because I love to challenge people. And it's just one of those things that having those badges that StudioC helped us figure out, hey, here are 10 things that are most important that we want people to do and we want them to be about. They get a badge for each one of those things. One of the things that we talk about every Sunday at the end of our service, Pastor Chris and I just finally came to the point, I think 3 years ago, where we said, hey, you know what? Every Sunday, a church our size is going to have somebody that hasn't said yes to Jesus. And maybe the reason that they're there in the service is not to hear our sermon, as much as that hurts, right? Maybe it's so that Jesus Christ, they would say yes to Jesus. And so we just made the decision, first of all, we made the decision to say, at the end of every service, we're going to open up the door for people to say yes to Jesus. And StudioC helped us figure out, hey, we're going to be incredibly intentional about every service. As we close it, we're going to give people that opportunity. But the other thing that we do almost every Sunday is we talk about the best way for you to live your life is to be totally surrendered to God's control in your life. And we talk about that. That's it. If there's no heart change, then man, come on. You can do all the stuff, but that's kind of like what the Pharisees did, right? They checked all the boxes, and it's great. I like having those badges, but man, we teach, we preach, we do ministry for that heart change. But one of the ways you know that, it's one of those lagging indicators, is that they have their badges lit up. Okay, so I'll let you in on the secret. Chris and we're the leaders, and we don't know what we're doing. So it is, I tell people, anybody that'll listen to me, I go, we have outgrown our ability to lead. And we don't know what we're doing. And I tell people that, and they just laugh, and oh, that's funny. I'm really serious. And so we came to a point a few years ago where we just looked around and we went, okay, hold on one second. We don't know what we're doing, but that's no excuse not to try to figure it out. And so we made this intentional step to say, okay, we don't know what we're doing. Okay, but let's go figure it out. Let's go find people that are smarter than us, that have figured it out, and see if they have the answer for us. So we met with Blue. One of the great things is when we first met with StudioC, I'll never forget it. It was, okay, we know we're doing good, but just like Jim Collins said, hey, good can be the enemy of the great. And I know a lot of people that say, hey, listen, if it's not broken, don't fix it. But hey, what if there's something better out there? What if there's something that, hey, you could do this, you could be better at what you're doing, and you just got to figure out how to do it? Well, I want in on that. I want to find out. I want that information. And so when Blue started StudioC, we were one of the very first churches that said, hey, listen, would you help us out, figure this out? We don't know what that next step is. We don't know what it is we don't know what that looks like to get to that next level for us. Blue did, StudioC did. And it was almost like this. It was almost like we're in a sports car and we're stuck in second gear. And we're revving it up, and we're moving forward. We're doing good. But man, what if we could put it in third gear? What if we could put it in overdrive and just take off? Well, that was what StudioC did for us. StudioC was like that thing that said, okay, we know what the next step is for you. Let us show you how. Let us walk with you, because it's not just giving us information. It's walking with us and helping us through the process, that we were able to put it in the next gear and take off. And that's why this last year we were able to handle a growth of over 500, is because, hey, we have somebody that's walking with us, feeding us information, putting their arm around us and giving us the steps, almost like, hey, do this, you're doing great. Hey, how about doing this here? And StudioC is that group that came alongside of us and helped us get to that next level, put it in the next gear, and allowed us to grow and get to the next plateau that we wanted to get to. The very first step for us was sitting down and having that engagement day where we were able to talk to StudioC. They were unbelievably kind. They worked so well with us, and they were trying to find out where we were. They didn't just come in and say, here's the package, you do what we tell you to do. They wanted to find out where we were, first of all. That is so unbelievably helpful, because now they know where we're at, they know what the next steps are, and they can say, okay, knowing where you're at, here's what you need to do. That was huge. It was one of those things where we were at a point where it's like you put the jigsaw puzzle out on the table and you got all the pieces. Well, you got all the pieces, but you got to figure out how you're going to put it together. And it was during that day that as they began to talk to us about, okay, we see where you're at, here's how you start to put those pieces together. All of a sudden it started to click, and it was like this little click here. Okay, that piece works there, that piece works there. And all of a sudden we began to see how the pieces fit together and how it all worked together. And we were like, okay, now we get it. Let's go implement it now. Andrea is like that she's like that thing that makes everything with marketing work for us. And StudioC said, you're going to have somebody in the marketing area that's going to make things work, that we were able to work with. And Andrea was that person for us. Didn't have a marketing background, but she has that sense, that feel for marketing that, man, it just made sense for us. And we said, Andrea, we need you to step from this area to the marketing area. We need you to work with StudioC. They'll give you all the pieces to make it work. And Andrea was the one for us that was the go-between with StudioC that just made everything work. When we would talk about, well, what do you think we ought to do? There was no direction. There was no, hey, here's a purpose in doing this. There was no, hey, we know the next steps, and you do this, you do this, you do this. We just kind of did it on the fly. And I know that's a mess, but that's what you do when you're a church trying to figure stuff out. You just kind of go, well, I don't know how to do it. Do you know how to do it? No. Okay, let's try to work on what the next steps are. But we didn't really know. StudioC came in and they said, hey, we know what the next steps are for you. Oh, wow. You know how valuable that is? Having somebody walk with you through those next steps, man, that's how we were able to grow so much. Is we were not only fed, hey, here's the next step, but hey, we'll walk with you. We'll give you the expertise. We'll give you the background, and here's why you do what you do. StudioC made it happen. We have people every Sunday, they're brand new. Most churches do. But there are a lot of people that come every Sunday for the first time. Or maybe they've been here once or twice. They need to hear that over and over again. There's regular things we do every Sunday, and it's a regular drumbeat. People understand that. People get that, hey, there's new people that don't know. Hey, it's time to turn your app where you get the notes, all those things that are on the app, like the bulletin, the giving, all those things are really important. So every Sunday, at least once, it's not just once a Sunday we ask people to turn their app. It's multiple times per Sunday, but it's something that people know that app is our connection to them. I understand that there's a certain weight that comes with a senior pastor saying, hey, make sure you go to your app. But Pastor Chris, when he gets up, he says the same things. It's repeated. It has to be done. It's one of those things that StudioC has told us, hey, listen, that repetitive thing of saying, hey, go to your app for this, go to your app for this, people get, hey, they're really serious about making the app the thing that makes that connection point real. Okay, so before we had an app, but we didn't drive people to the app very effectively. Very few people are actually going and checking it out. When StudioC came in, they said, hey, we're going to redo the app, which they did effectively, made it really attractive. It made it something that, man, when that app came out from StudioC, we were like, okay, this is a new ball game right now. And then it made it really easy for us to get up in front of people and say, hey, we've redone this app, and we constantly are going to talk to you about this. And people started going, hey, it's not a joke. It's really serious. We're going to find everything we need about OVCN on the app, and it's going to be specific to me and what I'm going through. I love that. That's a powerful thing. So already having a relationship, already having a conversation with Blue before he started StudioC, gave me the confidence that I knew Blue knew what he was talking about. I mean, it was a natural thing. Blue is incredibly smart. And so when we were batting around, hey, do we go with StudioC with this? It was like a natural thing. And it wasn't like, hey, we're looking at this company or this company. Hey, we know Blue knows what he's talking about. We want to work with Blue because Blue, he's done this before, and he can get us to that next level. So it was one of those things in working with StudioC that we knew they were going to get us there. It was a total confidence that what he was going to provide, it was going to be the right thing. Oh man, we had total confidence in Blue and StudioC, and the people that he brought. I mean, come on, I felt like they were family, and when we would get on our Zoom calls with Blue and the whole group, I felt like, hey, I know this person, but I only knew him. I knew Blue personally, but I didn't know anybody else. But man, after a couple meetings, you just felt like, hey, we're family. We're doing this together. They really care about what we're going through, and they do. Totally honesty here. Can you turn the cameras off on this one? I don't do anything with StudioC now. So I'm sorry about that, but they have done their job so well that Andrea interacts with them. Chris has some interaction with them. I have no interaction with them. It works like clockwork. I know that with the app and our marketing, I know that is going to be, I never have to worry about it. It's going to be at that next level. It's out ahead of us, pulling us to get to the next level. StudioC's been there. All those people have been part of a church where, hey, they've been a part of a larger church than what we're at. They know how to get us there. And so, like the app and the marketing team, they're drawing us to get to that next step. We'll get there, but we're always going to be behind what they're taking us to. People come to us, we engage them where they're at. We want to empower them to be passionate followers of Jesus Christ. We think that's really important. And then we want to equip them to make a difference in the world. But it's that first thing that is the most important thing. Get people who are lost and get them into a relationship with Jesus Christ. Nothing else even comes close to that one thing. Blue talks about this funnel. Have you guys ever heard of the funnel? Oh my lads. I looked at it and I thought, that's really interesting. So the marketing is really for people that are far outside, that don't even know anything about our church or know anything about Jesus. And the marketing piece is to get that interest there and then to bring them to a point where, hey, would you be willing to come and be a part of one of our activities in our church or our sports ministry at our church, or even to the point that they would come and sit in one of our services? Well, I promise you that everybody that comes to our church has looked at our app. There's nobody that comes here that hasn't looked at our app, or maybe they've watched a couple of sermons. New people all the time say, hey, I watched it a couple times online. This is my first time here. I get that all the time. If we don't have something that draws them in, that is a next level app, I'm not going there. I'm not spending my time doing that. Man, that app is what takes them from being on the outside, and that funnel that Blue talks about, it starts bringing them in, and to the point that they're able to sit in one of our services or maybe watch online, and they get to hear about Jesus Christ. That's what we're after. You know, it sounds so phony sometimes when you go, hey, Blue's made a difference in my life. But I tell him, every time I get on a Zoom call with him, which is not that much anymore, but every time I get up and I just say, hey, Blue, I want to make sure you know that what you do has made a difference in my life and my ministry and our church. Man, it sounds so phony to say that, but man, because I feel like I know the cameras are rolling and I'm just saying that, but man, I'm really serious. We wouldn't be where we're at. We wouldn't be able to reach the people we're reaching if StudioC hadn't come in and said, hey guys, we can help you out. And it's not like they knew better than us. It's not like they were, well, they kind of knew better than us, but it's like they were able to help us at a point where we just didn't know what to do, and we had the pieces, we just didn't know how to put it all together. And it was StudioC that came in and said, hey, we can help you get to the next level. And I think they were as excited as we were. We were like, oh, we can get to the next level. And they were like, yeah, we can take you there. And we certainly haven't arrived. There's more stuff that we're going to do, and we're going to get to the next level and the next level. We see that. We're sitting at 3,500 people every Sunday, but we have plans that in the next year we're going to be over 5,000. When I tell people that, well, they just go, well, yeah, there's this confidence. But in the back of my mind, I hear Blue going, okay, I'll tell you how to get there. And that's a pretty good confidence, isn't it? You got somebody that's walking with you and going, hey, I can get you there. I can help you. I'll show you the way. That's pretty cool.